my man, thou art thyself.
I am an ass. I am a woman's man, and besides myself.
Thou art Romeo, thou art my man, thou art thyself.
I am an ass, I'm a woman's man, and besides myself.
The words of the bard, on stage, and children standing up reciting Shakespeare in the classroom.
It's time, I think, to trudge, pack, and be gone.
This time I think to trudge, pack and be gone.
These Year 5 and 6 children at St Mark's Primary School in Brierley Hill near Birmingham are engaging with Shakespeare in a scheme run by the Royal Shakespeare Company.
Thy sister's sister.
That's my sister.
No.
As well as a performance by professional actors, the scheme involves teacher training on active theatre-based approaches.
If they're scheming to run away, they might say part of it quite close to each other and whispering.
This time I think to trudge, pack and be gone.
Teaching Shakespeare is not statutory in primary schools, but at St Mark's they're confident that children of all abilities can benefit from an approach that makes Shakespeare lively and accessible. In particular, they're keen to use it to help engage children who struggle with written work.
It certainly helps children who aren't necessarily as academic as some others. We've got some children here who find it very hard to put pen to paper, but who've actually glowed in the workshops that we've done. It doesn't matter that they can't write it down. If they can do it and they understand it, then we've taught them something for life.
In order for young people to be engaged and inspired by Shakespeare, they just need to do 3 things. Start Shakespeare earlier, see Shakespeare live, and explore Shakespeare actively on your feet.
A troupe of travelling musicians has arrived in Brierley Hill. They're getting ready to perform a play for an audience of young people. It's The Comedy of Errors by a certain William Shakespeare. As the audience settles in, the performers say hello. The play begins with a musical number. The production's been developed to complement key learning outcomes and to support teachers developing active problem-solving methods with Shakespeare in the classroom. So Shakespeare can continue to be taught engagingly when the RSC have gone. Aegeon, a merchant of Syracuse, is in a bit of trouble. He's been condemned to death by the Duke of Ephesus.
Proceed, Sir Linus, to procure my fall, and in doom of death, end woes and all.
If any Syracusian bull come to the bay of Ephesus, he dies. His goods confiscate to the Duke's dispose, unless 1,000 marks be levied to quit the penalty and to ransom him.
The RSC have adapted The Comedy of Errors specifically for performance in primary schools. The idea is to condense the play, to make it more accessible and powerful to a younger audience.
I think you're allowed to do anything. I think if Shakespeare was here today, he would say, yeah, do with it what you like. Because, first and foremost, he was a playwright. First and foremost, it's about telling a story.
Come on, Romeo, chop, chop.
The play allows us to be quite crazy because it's based on confusion, and therefore that allows a scope for the kind of physical comedy.
For us, it's the second time! Oh, that was that. Oh, that was it! Come on, Mr. Walker, either in.
But the staging of the play doesn't compromise the richness and dramatic purpose of the language.
Do it by stealth. Let not my sister read it in your eye. Be secret false. What need she be acquainted? What simple thief brags of his own attaint?
Satan avoid, I charge thee. Tempt me not. Master, is this Mistress Satan? It is the devil.
Your man and you are marvellous merry, sir. Will you go with me? We'll mend our dinner here.
But even with music and dance, do the children find it accessible enough?
In a way, it has surprised me how much they understand. I suppose you worry that you need to do loads and loads of stuff to make it understandable to children, but actually, they seem to be on it.
It was really, really good. And it was funny as well.
It's quite difficult at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's really easy to speak.
I find it a lot easier now I've done it myself then.
When you say it yourself, then you understand it more.
Sometimes we can veer away from the Shakespearean language and use very modern day language, and I think the children really like that, because then they're like, oh, that's something that I really, really understand, and it kind of knits everything together.
I would not stay tonight for all the town, therefore, away to get our stuff aboard. Master, methinks this place is worse than St. Mark's Primary School.
There's even a tap-dancing nun in this version of the Comedy of Errors. The fun and frolics of the performance are just part of an approach that's geared towards developing activities that can embrace all age ranges and a shared understanding of Shakespeare. Interactive and participatory activities are also a key part of the mix.
We know that particularly boys will be especially inspired by a kinesthetic experience. So watching a live performance, actively exploring themselves, some of the text choices, creates a need to write.
A word carpet written by the children as if they were a character in the Comedy of Errors is one approach that teachers at St. Mark's have developed to help children's understanding of narrative structure.
These words are for us to think about how it would make us feel if we had just arrived in Ephesus.
People like sweaty and smelling bones, breezy, rotting and smelling things.
There are plans to roll out these approaches for children of all ages through the school.
We are trying in the upper end of school to start off with, but across the school, staff are now seeing how you can actually start to work in foundation stage and in key stage ones, particularly looking at characters and storylines and the themes that Shakespeare allows us to address.
Some of the actors themselves had a less than exciting experience of Shakespeare when they were at school, and they enjoy being involved in more imaginative approaches.
We did it at school in English class. I never did it, never acted it out or anything like that. Just quite dry reading it out in class.
I think I always thought it was for, you know, posh people with beards who lived in Oxford or Cambridge. That's what I thought.
We didn't really have a clue what was going on, and we always read Romeo and Juliet or Macbeth, and they were the two that we really started with, and they were dull.
I remember the time when I couldn't understand it myself, and I thought, God, I can never understand this language. I could never do it. But then the time comes when you do it, and you're taught the language, and once you've been given the tools for it, you really fall in love with it.
All of you together are going to try, in a series of pictures, tell the story of the Comedy of Errors.
Immediately after the performance, the actors worked with the children in a workshop to really bring things to life.
3, 2, 1, freeze!
If any Syracusan born come to the Bay of Ephesus, he dies.
As strange unto your town as to your talk. But soft, my door is locked.
Very good.
Come, I pray you, sir, give me the chain.
Why? This is strange. I think you're all stark mad.
Very good, very good.
The physicality of the characters is really important. Do we know that they're not really twins?
Yes.
But do we believe that they are twins?
Yeah.
And that's theatre, you see.
Young people in Key Stage 2 and upwards, they absolutely adore learning new and unusual language. They're learning new vocabulary all the time. And so Shakespeare's just another rather wonderful challenge that we set to them.
The language might seem a little bit strange, like not the stuff that you would use to each other every day or in your homes. Let's just work out exactly what they might mean. So you've got villain, you lie. Thou art an ass, you are an ass. You slug, thou slug. And a sot is another word for a drunkard. They're nasty words, aren't they? How can we make it obvious that we mean it to be insulting and we mean it to be nasty? How do we as actors communicate what that word means?
Expression on your face.
Point at them, yeah, when you're insulting people you can point at them if you really, to show them exactly who you're talking to.
You right?
Yeah, stop.
Right, okay.
I'll break your pate.
These people are acting very weird.
Slave.
You don't know that.
No, slug!
I'm gonna get off, yeah. See you later. Bye.
You spoke the words with intention. That's what we call it in the theatre. You had a reason to speak the words. And that's a really important thing to remember when you're writing words that are for a play. Because all the words that are in a play are meant to be spoken, they're meant to be communicated to someone else for a reason.
Music and its evocation of emotion and sense of place was one of the themes of the workshop, which even dealt with the complexity of Shakespeare's verse, his use of iambic pentameter, the 10-beat rhythm.
Why call you me love? Call my sister so.
Thy sister.
That's my sister.
No!
The whole idea is to introduce Shakespeare to younger children in a way that uses physical performance, speaking and listening, writing, and active exploration of the great bard's work. The performance itself is a shared live experience for the children and a huge spur for activities in the classroom. So what tips to others would the teachers at St Mark's have to offer?
I just think take more risks and be prepared not to just read it out of a book, but to get the children up, acting in pairs, looking at themes from particular plays and exploring those more and just getting more active, I think it's the word.
And not being afraid not to understand the language that's being used.
Yeah, don't have that as a barrier.
Yeah.
We'll have seeded in them an excitement about Shakespeare so that when they go into secondary school and it becomes part of the formal curriculum, there's a can-do attitude about it and a knowledge that actually Shakespeare is something really wonderful that can be exciting and engaging for me as a student and means something to me.
So it's chaotic, isn't it? And that's exactly what it is in Ephesus.
Speaking and listening and drama have got just as important a role to play as writing. And I think the bits that go before, the talking about what they're going to write, the role-playing of what they want to write, be it Shakespeare or any other format, is really, really important to children. Shakespeare has stood the test of time, but I think Shakespeare is going to stand more a test of time if we can make it and bring it into the 21st century.
I just like reading, but I think Shakespeare's giving it that edge. And it's different to everything else that I read. I don't think I'll ever read anything like it again.